On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are continuing to break down the Broncos 49ers first preseason game and what should the level of concern be, if any, for Broncos Country after what we saw on Saturday night. We're diving into that question and breaking the game down more starting now. Take a deep breath, Broncos Country. Breathe in and out. It's going to be okay. Or is it? We're going to break it down on the DNVR Broncos podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. And we are the DNVR Broncos podcast. Ryan Koenigsberg, Henry Chisholm, we got you here behind the camera, and Zac Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. Fellas, how we doing today? How we feeling after these last 36 hours?
Well, I'm feeling really good after the last 24 hours because my guy Campbell and I won our member golf tournament yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yes, he made a net eagle on the 18th hole to give us the win.
Oh, my goodness.
It was so sick. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Which actually, in turn, makes me feel a little bit better about the Broncos starters' performance.
I mean, they say, like, happy wife, happy life, happy golf game, happy life, right?
Yes, exactly. There's probably a catchier way of saying that. I'll think of it.
If anyone will, it's you. Henry, do you have as good of a golf game, day?
I watched a lot of golf yesterday. I thought Scotty was going to come back and win it, but he didn't. It kind of fell apart. And Justin Rose won it because Tommy Fleetwood fell apart. It was fun. 3-hole playoff. I'm also not feeling great because I just did the math on our fantasy draft from Friday.
Let's
1.3 to 25.7. And the difference was Jarrett Stidham had 11 more points than Sam Ellinger.
Let's
if
go.
If not for that, I would have had him.
Yeah, but I did target Stiddy early in the draft.
You did. And I was kind of happy you did. I wanted Ellinger. I thought that he would be out there longer, but I was wrong.
Uh-oh. Henry's mic's out. So essentially what Henry said is he beat Ryan in fantasy.
Nope.
No, he didn't say that.
He said he lost to me in fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Wow. Yes, you beat him in fantasy by 6 points because of steady.
Wow, this life just keeps getting better.
Yep. Yeah, and I would have won if there wasn't a massive gap between Jarrett Stidham and Sam Ellinger.
Well, and
it's good to hear your voice, Henry.
Oh, good.
What did the snap count end up shaking out to?
It's a good question. I haven't looked at just the snap count.
Well, I mean, or just the time.
It couldn't have been very close.
Because Stidham he played the entire third quarter.
Yeah.
And so Ellinger only played the fourth. And was Bo out before the end of the first quarter? He played about the first quarter. Yeah.
So Stidham
probably
got about
2
half
to
the
1
game and then split between the other two.
Yep.
So fellas, let's dive into the question because we already have some people in the Toyota chat freaking out a little bit one way or the other. How concerned, if any, are you guys? And before we get your question, Yahir made a cool little graphic that we can get to, and we can put our answers in one of these categories, and Yahir, bring it up. Okay, so we have 5 categories. Believe, meaning all is good in the world. Yahir, let's see the believe, what it looks like. We got Bo Nix with the Super Bowl, the Lombardi Trophy right there. Okay, I like that. Next one, we've got all good. So still feeling good about ourselves. We're cool. Everything's good. Third one, feeling maybe not as hot. Then fourth one, yikes.
Really quick, I've always used that last emoji
as yikes.
Yeah. Oh.
Not
Yeah, but I would say a crying one is more depressing than the yikes.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe middle should be yikes and then fourth should be crying.
Yeah.
And then the last one is all out panic button with our DNVR model D-line featured on this.
Nice little cameo for D-line there. Should I just start by picking where I'm at?
Yeah.
I'm at
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
look, we were joking on the pregame show about like we have to decide now if this matters.
Yes.
And I joked and I said like, well, if it's good, it matters, and if it's bad, it doesn't.
It's so true.
And I was joking about that, but that's like how everyone's reacting now. They're like, oh, it's preseason, nothing matters. Like, what are we even talking about here? But if like Bo went 12 for 12 for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, everyone would be saying like, oh, Bo Nix is going to win MVP.
Yep.
So as much as I like the part where we say, oh, it only matters if it's good. We can't lie to ourselves here. It was not ideal. Now, I'm keeping full perspective here that if this was a real football game, they could have just got it going in the second quarter, gone, won. We saw them do that plenty times last year. So I'm not panicking by any stretch of the mind. But I also can't say like, yeah, everything's good, like nothing to see here, no worries. I think I would be disingenuous to say that.
I'll say that. I think big picture takeaways from a preseason game is just a bad idea. And in my case, I'm kind of lucky that the Broncos struggled, because if I was saying that after Bo went 12 for 12, people would really hate it. But in this case, like it's 3 drives and that's it. Like, I think there are little things you can take away, like Nik Bonitto looked good, or like Blake Watson looks like he belongs on an NFL team. But if you're worried about that, it's like a preview. It's like there are previews for movies that you look at and you're like, oh, that's a good preview. The movie looks good, and it's not good.
But
or like it's a preview where it's like, oh, it looks bad, and the movie turns out to actually be good. But that's where I'm at. It's like I'm not reading too much into it.
But I'm not. So you're saying you're in the all good area?
I think I don't know that believe is the right response to like I don't care about that. So yeah, I think all good is probably the answer.
But your kind of whole point there was like you shouldn't be worrying about this. Where I put myself, I don't think is that I'm worried. I'm just like,
yeah,
like didn't love that.
Yeah,
it's not. I think the last 2 are the worrying categories, and I find myself in the middle, which is certainly unsatisfied.
Yeah,
but not worried.
Yeah, that's very fair. And I'm right in between you guys. I brought a little show and tell for this today, but I lost it because it was a grain of salt. And that's where I am with this. I had a little grain of salt in this game right here. I don't know how you can just not pay any attention to a preseason game. I mean, we all spent hours watching this. Like, we all did this for a reason there. And you're absolutely right, Ryan. Like, how if you would have came on the show and said it means absolutely nothing, I would have said, well, how'd you feel about Shedeur Sanders and what he did?
Sure.
Because I'm sure you loved what he did there.
Absolutely.
And as you should. He looked fantastic. And so it's just a little disingenuous to be like, oh, when it's good, exactly what you said. You pay attention to it. When it's bad, you don't. But you also, and none of us are going to press the panic button and go to the D-line graphic right there where we're just absolutely freaking out. It's misery. No, because it is a preseason game. But I can't watch what I saw and say, like, yeah, I love that, especially knowing the circumstances where it's the Broncos starters for about the first quarter going up against the 49ers backups. And the Broncos defense responded obviously very well. And I like the depth that we saw from the team throughout the rest of the game. But the first drive, Mac Jones, I love Mac Jones, but I was clearly wrong on him. He's on his 3rd team in 3 years, and he's the backup quarterback. He goes down on what's supposed to be this Broncos elite defense and is able to lead a touchdown drive. That didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
But still a grain of salt. So instead of panicking, as that drive kind of felt like, it's like, no, it's just a little grain of salt in terms of how I feel about this. And then the offense, we were told that Bo Nix is supposed to be really, really, really good soon. So I would assume that he'd go and dice up the 49ers defense and backups. And that didn't happen. And this kind of brings me to a bigger point now. I love what Sean Payton said 8 days ago in those articles about how this is a Super Bowl team. This is one of 7 teams in his career that he's identified that has a chance to win a Super Bowl, and that Bo Nix is going to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the next 2 years. Sean put these expectations on the team. Like, I really believe in Sean. I really listen to what he says. And when he puts these expectations, I follow his expectations for this team. So, yeah, was I expecting a little better even out of a first preseason game? I was, because he has put these expectations high. But again, it's not a panic, but it is Sean saying this is a damn good team. Didn't really see that from the first group. So, slightly disappointing.
Yeah, again, it's such a small sample size. And
Definitely.
how many times, like the Super Bowl defense, didn't that Super Bowl defense wind up giving up like first drive scores at a crazy high clip? I could be wrong about
Can't
that.
say I remember that, but
Yeah, I thought that was one of those trends. Is like, yeah, they always seem to give up points on the first drive, but then there's really nothing after that.
I could see that.
Yeah, and again, it's Kyle Shanahan who he has everything scripted, and I know he isn't going all out saying like, how do we pick apart this defense? But that's the other thing is none of this is scouted. That none of this is tailored for we're playing against this 49ers defense. How do we attack it, or what do we expect? It's just we show up and we run our plays and see if we can like get in and out of the huddle and run the right routes and line up on the field right. You know, it's not something where I think the results, big picture, that big of a deal. Again, to me, there's a lot of things you can take away preseason in just individuals. You know, like Bo's accuracy was a little hit or miss. You know, Court had that opportunity to make that great catch over his shoulder. Didn't bring that one in. Maybe he forgot how to do that over the offseason. Maybe that's something that in the regular season he just makes the catch. And there's enough of that where I just don't think my opinion really changes all that much. You know, the run game didn't look great at the same time. Like they broke off a couple decent gains. Like I just don't. It doesn't get me too worked up big picture knowing what happened. Again, like even when the 49ers went down the field and scored, it was really two plays to me. The first was the Ja'Quan McMillian gets beat on the slot fade. Again, I don't put that in the like, oh, is the defense not good box? I put that in the like Ja'Quan McMillian, not the fastest. He struggles with that sort of thing. There's like a point there. And when it comes time for the position battle between him and Jahdae Barron, that matters. And then the fourth down, the fourth and short conversion where the Broncos went surprisingly light on the defensive line. That's something I don't think they would do in a regular season game. I think that they would say, decent chance they just sneak this and not just leave two defensive linemen lined up in between the tackles. But who knows? Maybe Vance Joseph forgot how to coach. But that's where I'm at. I can't get worried about it.
So let me ask you guys: do we need to see?
Where are you, Zach? Are you at as well?
All good. If Bo and the defense, if they would have gone out and had a great first quarter, I'd be at Bo leave. I'd be at where Sean Payton thinks with Bo holding the Super Bowl trophy. I'd be going, yeah, okay, I saw what I needed to see to totally get behind. Because it's a grain of salt, it knocks me down one notch. I'm all good.
I think I started it all good.
And it dropped you down one.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was at Bo leave because of what Sean said last week, like feeling that way. So it dropped me down a notch right there as well. To ask you guys this question, I might ask it later in the week as well. Do you need to see anything better on Saturday in the second preseason game?
Yes, 100%. This was kind of like my main takeaway, or one of my main takeaways on the post-game show, which was just like, okay, like I'm fine to just throw that away entirely if you go out and perform better in the second preseason game.
Couldn't agree more.
It doesn't matter now. It could start to matter
right
at a certain point. And so, yeah, I think the pressure just went up a little bit this week to go out there and perform. Like, you know, Henry was just saying that they didn't game plan anything. Like, well, maybe Sean needs to game plan a little bit to get the offense a nice little rhythm going. Like, it would be very nice. I would love to come on the next post-game show and say, like, I don't even remember what happened in the first preseason game. It's irrelevant now.
100%. And I think that Sean should do that because not only for the fans, I mean, he could care less what the fans feel like going into the season, but this will very likely be the last preseason game that the starters play in. They're probably going to not play in New Orleans in 2 weeks from now. If, let's say, this Broncos starting offense goes out and doesn't score again and they play like a quarter and a half against maybe the Cardinals backups, I don't know how the Cardinals are going to handle this game, but doesn't do anything, how confident do you think this starting offense is going into week one? They're probably not, the confidence isn't on the ground, but like, how could you be confident after playing backups and not doing anything in the preseason? So I do think that there is a reason for Sean to game plan a little and give these guys a little bit of confidence. I mean, all it is just one scoring drive and boom, okay, we've seen it, ready to rock and roll going into the Titans game.
I think if they spend a day game planning for a preseason game, it's a day wasted. That's a day you could be spending implementing whatever else.
How about like 10 minutes?
I don't think that's how game planning works, though. Like you have to have your coaches go dig into the tape and see what trends they find and see what's going on and figure out what plays beat this and how do we set them up to get them into this. Like, I don't think there's a way to like speed game plan. Like, I think that one day would be speed game plan because typically that's like 3 days, you know?
I'm mostly saying like just run some plays that are specifically designed to attack what you're going to see. So all you need to know about there is what you're going to see.
Yeah.
And then Sean Payton should know what to attack it with.
I think that'd be a waste of a day.
It's not even a day. That's
I think it would be. I think that's a day.
Thought.
Yeah.
It's not, but your coaches have to go and look at what they do to know what they're trying to attack.
No, it's essentially just having a script and having Sean go and say, these are the plays we're going to run. Like it's not deep dive, intense game planning. And we might be getting too much on the game planning part. It's just, Henry, do you want to see more improved team this weekend?
I do want to. It'd be a lot of fun if they do it. If they put up 3 performances like that this preseason, my opinion of the team going to week 1 won't change at all.
Okay.
Again, also on that
You're
defense.
A strong-willed person.
those 2 plays that they gave up, those are the only 2 first downs they gave up the entire game. Like, I think it's important to remember that, like, if Mac Jones just doesn't, if Ja'Quan McMillian makes that one play there, it's 3 and outs. One of them ends in a pick. The other is the Nik Bonitto drive. Like, I'm not worried about it.
That one's less. The defense, I don't think anything could make me worry about the defense, honestly.
Okay.
The offense was a little more concerning, in my opinion. And I get what you're saying about, actually building a game plan. I'm just saying, like, there should be a little more effort put into this because I think getting some momentum matters. Like, I'm obviously in a very golf mindset right now, but, like, if you go to the driving range and you don't hit a single good shot, it doesn't actually matter for your round, but you certainly don't feel good on the first tee or as good as you could. You just want to stripe a couple drivers and get to the first tee and say, okay, I got this.
To the offense's credit, though, they did put together a 7-play drive and get to midfield on the first drive. And I think 4th and 3 at midfield in regular season game, they probably go for that. Like that play call where you're throwing it to Cortland Sutton short of the sticks, to me, is a play call that sets up you going for it. There's the safety when they're pinned back. That's the one that's ugly. And they put together the 9-play field goal drive. Like it's not like they were going out there and just being, it wasn't 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. They were pretty sustained drives other than the one ugly one.
All right, so let's talk about more of the positives that we saw from this game after I give a shout out to our friends over at American Financing, where we got a new partner. And if you're thinking about buying a home in Colorado, you're not the only one and now might be your best shot. We're officially in a buyer's market, which means you've got the upper hand. More homes are on the market. Competition is down and serious deals are out there. Just be waiting to be found. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to upgrade or downsize, now's the time to get pre-approved, and American Financing can make that happen in less than 24 hours. Since the time the Broncos game ended, you could already be pre-approved right now with American Financing. Don't let the 20% myth stop you, or 20% down myth stop you. You could buy a home with as little as 3% down, and with down payment assistance programs available, getting into a home might be easier than you think. Give them a call at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or AmericanFinancing.net.
And shout out to Empire Today. If you wind up buying a new house with some of our friends, then a great first project might be to change up those floors. Empire, they're pros in flooring. They've been doing it for forever. It's all they focus on, so it's not like going to a big box store where, they have a flooring department, but the same guy there might be stocking up the light bulbs. Empire's the best. Like I said, they're proven. They've been doing it forever. They'll bring the showroom right to your home, so you can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. You can see how it looks with your furniture in your house. You can get precise measurements taken, have all your questions answered, so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard right, a $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/DNVR for full details.
So, guys, I've got a question for you. Can preseason games impact contract negotiations?
Yes.
Because, holy cow, did Nik Bonitto do his best to show that he should be paid, and he should be paid a lot, and maybe even raised his price on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think I was saying $1 million a play when he was
You were
on
saying
that when he was on that 3-play stretch.
$1 million per play per year.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was seeing, and that's what I would be saying if I was Nik Bonitto. There's one.
Yeah.
There's another million. 24.
And then that's why
26.
the coaching staff was like, "No, Nick, you're not going back
get
in.
Out, get him out of there."
And he's like, "Nope, I'm going back in. 1 million."
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. The thing to me though is like, it just shows progression. It shows that he's still the same guy. There's no funny business going on. There's nothing weird that happened in the off season. Like, if I was him though, I would just be like, "What are you doing?" Because I'm going to keep doing this. And if we don't get this deal done now, it's just the price is just going to go up when we get to the season.
Yeah. I don't think the price changes at all because of that game, but I think the urgency does. I think if you're the Broncos and you see that, I think it's a lot easier to say we need to get this done now because every game you wait into the season, I think is probably going to cost you more money because he's a dominant pass rusher. If he had 13.5 sacks last year and does it again this year, he's going to hit free agency and make $35 million a year, maybe even more than that. So if you can lock it up now while there's still some uncertainty about what he is as a player, you can save a few bucks. And again, I don't think that the preseason sacks change the overall perception, but it does remind you he's a really good player and you should get this done.
I completely agree, Henry. I don't think it actually changes the dollar amount of the contract, but there's no reason the Broncos should be waiting anymore. Sean told us that Nick's kind of in a transition period in terms of like now that I think this is what he meant. Now they're now focusing on Nick after getting the contract for Courtland Sutton and Zach Allen done. But for me, I would be getting this deal done before the next preseason game because let's say he goes out and there's no contract before the start of the season. He goes out and does this in week 1 against the Titans, which he absolutely could. He could go out and like double his performance because he didn't even play an entire half and have 2.5 to 3 sacks. If he does that against the Titans and Cam Ward, which again, very possible.
Yeah. Cam Ward has taken 12-yard dropbacks all game.
Yes. Yeah. And running around. And if he does that, guys, if I'm Nick, I'm saying my price has now gone from 24, 25 million, which is where it's at from Nick's camp right now, to 35 million, just based off of one game.
He could get 3 sacks, 5 sacks in that game.
Easily. And then he could turn around against the Indianapolis Colts, whether it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, 2 guys that are also very prone to being sacked. We saw Anthony Richardson nearly get his head taken off this past week in a game just from not seeing a pass rush coming in.
Not from the blind side or anything. Like from straight in front.
Yes,
he's
right
standing this way.
Well, I was going to say it was kind of his blind side because he never looked that way. But.
Like in the way that every one of his sides are blind. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Like we could be talking about Nik Bonitto having 4 to 6 sacks by the end of week 2, and then there's
no going back.
I mean, the only hometown discount you're getting there is you don't have to make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Instead of it being 41 million, you might get the discount of 35. I don't know why they would wait longer now. We saw it in training camp. He's been great. And then we saw it in the joint practice on Thursday, and then we saw it in the game. Come on, let's pay him 100 million, 4 years, 75 million guaranteed. Boom, done deal.
Let me ask you this. Do you think his agent is saying the price is raised after that?
Of course.
So then the price is raised.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean with like, can a preseason game change contract negotiations? If one side wants it to. Now, obviously, the Broncos can counteroffer and say, no, we're ready to give you this thing that you wanted at the 24.5 that we agreed on or whatever, and that might get the deal done. But I agree with Henry on the urgency. I don't know about the price because we're not in that room, and I agree with you. This should be done before next week.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding of where this was before this preseason game, so about a week ago, is Nick's, from my understanding, ready to sign a deal whenever. And I think 4 years, 100 million would get the job done pretty easily. There has been back and forth between the two sides. And I think the Broncos they're definitely open to signing him now, but I think they're also just in a little wait and see mode. So I think this game could change the wait and see mode to be like, nope, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was against backups and Mac Jones, because for me, does Nik Bonitto look legit? Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, 100%. That's probably the best takeaway is just like, man, the Broncos have a very legit Nik Bonitto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's also an alternate universe where like the 49ers play their starters and instead it's Trent Williams out there. and things go very differently. Or like Trent didn't go through the team drills. And so like if Nik Bonitto was going up against Trent Williams in the joint practice, instead of having this awesome week we were talking about, it's like, I don't know. He kind of got stuffed. Sure, Trent's an all-pro, but we would have liked to see more.
But what if he beats Trent
There's
Williams?
also that alternate universe
Time
too.
and time again.
Yeah, there's that.
Then they might just be saying, "Yep,
Then
it's
the price
35
really
now.
is up.
Then the price
He's
is
like
way
the
up.
best tackle in the league. Can't stop me, guys. What are we
Nobody
doing here?
can. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Broncos Country also just wants this deal to be done, just like they wanted it with Court, just like they wanted it with Zach Allen. I think there's going to be a lot of celebration when this deal gets done. What are some other things? Because I actually, even though I felt the way about the first team offense specifically, I still thought there were a lot of positives from this offense, from guys that the Broncos are going to be relying on this year. And while the running back stats might not look incredible, I thought the running backs really impressed me. Look, J.K. Dobbins, the Broncos know. Sean Payton told us all training camp. We know what we have in J.K. Dobbins. We've seen him play in so many NFL games, so we don't need to see him, and that's exactly what they did. We did not really see J.K. I think he had 1 catch for 4 yards, didn't even run the ball. They know what they have in him. I loved what I saw in R.J. Harvey, and I think the stats says he ran for like 3.6 yards per carry. The eye test showed that he was put in bad situation after bad situation after bad situation with just defenders all around him when he got the ball. And I thought he did a good job of not freaking out and running every single play to the outside to try to avoid him. But I think the times that he needed to, he did that well. I thought he read the field. I thought his vision, like Sean Payton said when they drafted him, was elite. I loved what I saw from R.J. Harvey.
I'll say I liked
Okay.
some of what I saw from RJ Harvey.
Okay.
Yeah.
The explosion is definitely there. I thought there was a little bit too much bouncing to the outside.
Yeah. There was that one play in particular.
Yes. I'm certainly concerned about the fact that there was, like you just said, he was put in a bad situation with his first team offensive line going up against the second team defensive line. But I thought he showed flashes, which is what you want to see. I thought Blake Watson really showed flashes.
Totally.
I thought Tyler Badie really showed flashes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Jaleel didn't. So
He had that one play that was called back.
Yeah.
Where he got that corner. Like, he is good.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't know. I felt like this running back room got more complicated during that game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the
terms of
ends
third
kind
spot?
of pushed toward the middle.
Yeah.
Because like they weren't gonna play J.K. Dobbins between the tackles. That looked like an intentional decision. It was weird though to see RJ as like the single back and Dobbins is like their pass protector. Yeah. I think it might have been Dobbins who screwed up the protection on the safety. It's probably on Bo for not seeing it. But you wound up with like the extra blocker on the right side with the free rusher on the left side. And I would imagine Dobbins was supposed to be over there, but who knows? But yeah, I came away. RJ looked fast. There wasn't a lot of like making guys miss or breaking any tackles. But I'm not worried about that. Just want to make sure that he isn't bouncing outside too much, because there was at least one time where there was more out there and he at least could have avoided a loss if he just would have hit the hole and gone. But again, first NFL game, I'm not too worried about it. It's the other guys who made it interesting with Badie and then Blake Watson in particular. And
You think in a way for them to push RJ?
No.
Okay.
Not yet. I don't think there's a world in which it isn't Dobbins and RJ for week one.
Yeah.
But if RJ goes out there and struggles week one, they could be quick to pull the trigger depending on what they see over the next couple weeks. It would surprise me, but if things go a certain way. But Blake Watson's incredible. And we talked about him a lot last training camp, last offseason, when he was the highest paid undrafted free agent, tied for the Broncos' highest paid undrafted free agent running back in the NFL. And he's just so explosive, makes guys miss, breaks tackles, has great vision. I'm all in.
All in, and I think there's a reason that Sean Payton pretty much day after day has said that running back room is still wide open. Is because of Tyler Badie and Blake Watson and what these guys can do. Audric Estime, probably not the way he wanted to start off the preseason. And I think it's pretty clear over the last, honestly, couple of months since they brought in J.K. Dobbins that things haven't been trending in the right direction. He did have about a good week stretch in there about 10 days ago, but not the best way to show, especially like it has been hard. Even in joint practice, it was really hard to see how good these running backs were because when you're not tackling, it's so difficult to truly tell. So this game, I do think some people are saying like, well, don't read too much into preseason. In some ways, don't read into it. But for running backs, this might be the time to read into it the most because you actually get to see how elusive they are, how dynamic they are when they're breaking tackles. So let's continue to break down this game after I give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time because, guys, it's almost game time in the Mile High City for the Broncos Titans. And this should be such an electric first regular season game. If you want to go, make sure to check out our friends over at Game Time where they have the best interface. They've got the best prices with their Game Time guarantee. And they're also giving you the best deal, $20 off your first purchase. There's no reason to go anywhere else when you need to get tickets for the Broncos, for the Nuggets, for the Avs, for concerts. Anywhere that sells tickets, Game Time is likely to have them. And I just love their interface as well, whether you're on the mobile side or the online web page. It's just fantastic. You get to see exactly what you see it looks like, and it is a great experience. So download the Game Time app. Use the code DNVR to get $20 off your first purchase over at Game Time. What time is it?
Game time. Also, shout out to our friends over at Coors Light. After we won the tournament yesterday, first thing we did, go straight to the bar, order a pitcher of Coors Light. Times of celebration, times to chill, times to hang out. You know, you're just cracking one after work by yourself, or when you're celebrating something with all of your friends. There's no time that isn't right for a good old Coors Light. You can make the most of the times you choose to chill by choosing Coors Light, and you can get Coors Light delivered straight to your door by visiting CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
All right, so guys, what else stood out to you? Because there's one other area that really impressed me in this game, but I want to hear what else impressed you from this.
Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant looked really good. I think both of them just look like they belong. You know, Troy on that little curl route, that's what we've talked about all training camp, is just him finding different ways to win than what he did last year. And that was one of them, where he pushes hard off the line of scrimmage, stops, gets around quickly, catches a pass. Like, those are the sorts of things you need to be able to do to be a number one receiver in the NFL. And if he adds that, then there's no reason he can't be. And then Pat Bryant on those third downs, just the route running is incredible. And I've kind of changed my mind to me, it's Devon Bailey who doesn't get the jersey week 1.
Pat Bryant has to get it. I mean, I love what I saw in Henry. That was actually my second biggest thing that I wanted to say was this wide receiver room, specifically these guys that we've seen flashes from throughout training camp really coming through in the preseason, specifically Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant. Absolutely loved what I saw from these guys. And Trent Shefield.
That's where I was
Throw him
going.
in here. Now he's obviously a vet, but those three guys, really, really impressive, and just shows the depth that the Broncos have at that room and shows why the Broncos didn't make any big moves in the offseasons because these guys do seem legit.
Yeah, it's a little weird what's going on with Devon Bailey. It feels like I don't know if I want to use the word regression, but it's just kind of in a slump.
Well, speaking of weird, Ryan, he missed all of mandatory minicamp. We weren't told why. He was back at the start of training camp, and Sean Payton has not wanted to talk about it. In fact, the last time he was asked about Devon Bailey, that's when he did that's it, that's what that's it means. Like, stop asking.
Yeah.
So he's very defensive about it. So it's like, okay, that's interesting. But since he was back at the start of training camp, all good. Then he missed, I believe, 2 practices about 10 days ago in a row. And then last week, Joe Lombardi let something slip, I think. He said he was dealing with something, but now he's back, or it's good to see him back. So maybe he had a little procedure, and that's what caused him to miss that. And maybe that's what's impacting maybe this little sophomore slump.
That makes sense. But I think it was just a couple weeks ago where you said you predicted that he wouldn't get a jersey on game day, and I think Benny said, like, that's insane.
Yeah, but that's just how it's
But
looked.
that's how it's progressed for sure.
Yeah. Pat Bryant's a 3rd-round pick. 3rd-round picks should, if everything goes like kind of right, a 3rd-round pick should probably get a jersey. Probably will get a jersey.
I'm trying to think back. So, like, Jonah Ellis, did he get a jersey? Was he hurt? No. I can't remember.
I think he got a jersey.
I think Quinn got a jersey right away.
Yep.
There's another one in between there. But yeah.
Most third-round picks do.
It
That's
sounds-
if
yes.
things go okay. Things have gone fantastic for Pat Bryant, not just in the preseason game, but all of training camp. You give the benefit of the doubt to the guys that you draft to and that you really believe in. So I don't see a world where Pat Bryant doesn't get a jersey. And then so you do go through, and it's like, okay, well, can the special team, can all the rest of the receivers be really good on special teams where Trent Shefield doesn't get a jersey? Not with the way that Trent Shefield is playing special teams, but also the receiver position right now. Troy Franklin is getting a jersey. Cortland Sutton's obviously getting a jersey. Marvin Mims. If one of these guys isn't getting a jersey, it just has to be Vele as of right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it absolutely has to be. And Trent Shefield, I feel like, has shown that he's far more than just a special teams ace.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been saying it all offseason. He's going to be the new Lil Jordan Humphrey, where every time he's on the field, Broncos fans are going to be really upset that he's on the field and not one of the younger receivers. But he's going to be out there a bunch because he can block.
And catch.
And
Run.
catch, too.
If he makes catches like he did, then he will be viewed differently than Lil Jordan Humphrey in terms of like, okay, this guy is a reliable receiver and actually get the ball thrown his way in. I've said this about Pat Bryant, how every quarterback at Broncos training camp, whether it's Ehlinger, whether it's Stidham, whether it's Bo, seems to gravitate towards Pat Bryant. They also gravitate and really trust Trent Shefield as well. And there is something to be said about that. And that is something that stands out to coaches too.
100%. What else stood out to me? Jarrett Stidham?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it change your opinion about him at all? 14 of 15.
Yeah, I think it improved my opinion on him a little bit. I remember there was a famous Mike Liss post in which he said Paxton Lynch has to be the best backup quarterback in the NFL or something like that once he lost the starting job to Trevor Siemian. But I think the Broncos might actually have the best backup quarterback.
Wow.
I mean, there's tough competition. I mean, like Gardner Minshew's out there.
Mac Jones is out
I
there.
take City.
Yeah. Okay.
Take City.
Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's going to be the backup here hopefully for a long time. If Bo Nix works out, Jarrett Stidham is going to be the backup here for like 8 years unless something happens to Bo and Jarrett looks really good and gets a chance to compete somewhere else. But as it stands now, Broncos kind of just have their group set up for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I think Stiddy made some money over the weekend. He's entering the final year of his. Well, no, I guess he just signed a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah.
So he is entering the final year of his 1-year deal. I think this is where backup quarterbacks get a little bit of money. He probably just got another $1 million onto his next contract. Next year, signing a 1-year $7 million deal or something like that. When you talk about backup quarterbacks, in reality, if you need your backup to play 10 plus games, you're probably hosed regardless, like whoever your backup is,
Yes.
whatever team. So what you need from a backup is, can they come in the third quarter and finish out a game if a quarterback tweaks something? Can he come in for 2 games and go 1-1? I think Stidham can do that. I think he can be competent, and that we saw more than competent, and that's what makes me believe that he can be competent for the Broncos if they need to turn to him for a short stint of time. And that's what you need. You can't come in and have a guy that goes 2 for 15 with 2 interceptions, and that's the opposite of what we saw from Stidham.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Anything else stand out to you before we get to some of the concerns and things that we want to see tighten up?
We hit on Bonitto, but that's a massive one. The fact that he played like that has to stand out. And then I'd say the interceptions. I think we brought up Ja'Quan giving up the big play. He also had the pick. Chris Abrams' drain. It got called back, but that pick on the sideline, it's a big play for him. I think Karen A. Reed, depending on how exactly we say that. We still don't really know for sure. I think all those guys needed those plays. I think Chris Abrams' drain kind of solidify himself as like, I'm just the number 5. I'm the best option if things go poorly. Ja'Quan obviously in the competition. And if there's one undrafted free agent who has the chance to make this roster, it is Karen A. Reed.
Yeah, absolutely. And another guy you mentioned, Chris Abrams' drain. Not only the near interception, I thought he had a really good game, really impressive.
Yep.
The Broncos have so much depth at corner. And the crazy thing about Chris Chris Abrams-Drain is like, he had a good rookie season. He had that pick against Justin Herbert, which gave the Broncos life in Los Angeles. And then the Broncos obviously go out and draft Jahdae. And then so a lot of the conversation is focused on, okay, him and Ja'Quan.
Yep.
And everyone has kind of forgot about Chris Abrams-Drain, but he is a really good depth piece in that cornerback room. And that's a position, kind of like George Payton said, you can never have enough pass rushers. It's the same thing with cornerback. You really can never have enough. Except now the Broncos are like 5 deep at cornerback, which is just gotta feel so good for Vance.
And the Broncos have like traded that extra corner before and gotten some capital out of it. So maybe that's something they'll consider. Or they'll think back to the Browns game last year and say like, nope, let's hold on to all of these guys.
Yep.
Savion Jones was impressive.
Yeah.
He looks incredibly strong. And just like, I don't know, he was able to get to his spots and make plays, and I liked what I saw from him.
I
completely agree.
Yeah, like he just looked like he belonged. Like it wasn't like a crazy game. Like he wasn't like in the backfield all night or anything like that. But he just was out there. Like obviously the swat where he just knocks the guy back and is able to get a hand up. Like there's just a lot of that sort of stuff where he fits right in. He doesn't need to put on any muscle like a lot of rookies do. I think that's a really good sign.
And he will be seeing the field, at least some this year, but it's pretty clear what his role is. He is the John Franklin Myers replacement if they don't end up paying John after this season. And that's a pretty important position to be in because the Broncos can't pay everyone, so they got to let a couple of guys walk. And John Franklin Myers, while the Broncos may not pay him, he is a damn good football player. Like he could go out and get $15 million a season after this season. We know he's like a 50 pressure type of guy per year season, really reliable in that sense. And that's a big role for Savion to be in. Now, he's going to be getting the most one-on-ones of anyone next year in 2026 because people are going to be focusing on DJ, Zach Allen, Nik Bonitto, Jonathan Cooper. So he's going to have opportunities, but it's really good to see those flashes and give us some hope that we can count on him moving forward because that's going to be a big spot for him to be in. But he does have a full year to develop too. So I love seeing the flash though.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move to the concerns? Because there's one area that I have to point to and get your guys' take on it because it was maybe probably the most concerning thing that I saw. And let's get to that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Shady Rays. It is summertime and it's pretty much Shady Rays season all year around in Colorado. And if you need to get yourself a pair of Shady Rays, or might I suggest getting someone else a pair of Shady Rays, it's a perfect gift and you get 35% off. There's nothing better than buying a gift for someone and then getting 35% off on that by going to shadyrays.com and using the code DNVR. The thing I love, there's many things I love about Shady Rays. First, they have so many different types of pairs of sunglasses, so I guarantee they've got something for you or one of your friends or family members for a gift. Plus, polarized sunglasses, which is key. And then they're already affordably priced, which I just love because some sunglasses are crazy expensive, not over at Shady Rays, very affordable. And then it's going to give you 35% off by using that code DNVR. So make sure to check them out. Over 300,000 people have given them 5-star reviews. Go to shadyrays.com, use that code DNVR for 35% off.
And want to give a shout out to our friends at Monarch Money. Monarch Money makes everything so easy. They not control all your finances. It's a place where you can go to see all of your finances, whether it's your bank accounts, whether it's your investments, whatever it may be. They put it all in one spot, so it's easy to track. Especially for somebody like me who likes to bet and took every over and almost every dog. With almost every over and almost every dog winning in the preseason, good time to jump in with Monarch Money. Figure out what you want to do with all that. Make sure you're tracking it. Make sure you're planning for retirement, planning your savings in case something happens or you need a little bit of cash. Monarch Money is the best. It's the top recommended personal finance app by users and experts with over 30,000 5-star reviews. Wall Street Journal named it the best budgeting app of 2025. So get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use the code DNVR at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DNVR.
Colorado Straight Flush in the Toyota chat says, I had my Shady Rays get scratched up pretty bad at a festival last week and they replaced them for free. That is the best part I think I just paid for shipping. Yeah, Shady Rays is going to have your back there. And we had someone else, I don't see who it was, someone else in the Twitter chat complimenting me on my jeans. No, these are not jeans.
I don't think they were complimenting you on your jeans.
Oh, what were they? Didn't they say like those are nice jeans or something?
No, they said, someone please buy Zach. Someone buy.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the culture war thing.
I will never buy
Yeah.
jeans. No, I've tried. They're terrible.
You've tried.
Yes, I have.
So you've like gone to the store and tried them on and just been like, nope.
Oh,
or
no.
you've actually owned a pair.
I've owned a pair of jeans, and then I wear them once. I'm like, these are so uncomfortable. Not again. Not again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Sometimes you got to sacrifice a little comfort.
Nope. I won't do that with jeans.
All right.
No. And really quick shout out to everyone tuning in with us. Hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate you rocking and rolling with us. Programming note today, we went a little early. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going right after the Broncos practice. Right around 2 p.m., they're back practicing normal preseason or normal training camp on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then Thursday, it's still normal time, but we got the Arizona Cardinals come into town for a joint practice. That is going to be electric. We're all going to be there and break it down right after practice. So make sure that you're tuning in to that. And then, of course, we got the preseason game. This thing is flying already. We're close to the start of the season. So make sure you're rocking and rolling with us for all of your training camp updates this week.
Of course, I'm wearing shorts. It's like 90 degrees. It's the summer.
I thought today was like, all I heard was like, it's supposed to be a little chilly today, but I guess.
83.
Okay.
It's a little chilly for here.
Yeah, a little chilly.
Because
but
then
I
it's
guess
90,
still warm.
97,
That's why I went with
96,
pants
92.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a hot one. Make sure you got your Shady Rays. All right, guys, there's one thing that I didn't love to see. The offensive line. It just, when it came to the running game, which I just wasn't expecting, I thought that was going to be fine. Just too many guys in the backfield around the line of scrimmage. And then the protections. Bo obviously didn't have a fantastic game, especially if you look at the stats. But he wasn't also put in good situations as well. Now that safety, who knows if that's on Bo, if that's on the offensive line, where that's supposed to be. But I didn't love it. Now, I'm not concerned about this in a big picture sense because the Broncos had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL last year. They didn't change anything. I expect them to be better. But all training camp, the Broncos pass rush has been dominating. I don't blame them for that because the Broncos pass rush is really good, but it's not like we've been seeing amazing things out of the offensive line there. In joint practice, I talked about it last week, how Bo was having to make plays with his feet because pressure was getting to him. Okay, just another thing stacked on top of it. And then this game, I didn't love it either. So everything's starting to stack up where I'm like, man, this was like one of the parts of this team that I had no concerns about. And I haven't liked what I've seen for the past month.
Yeah. I think they could be a really, really good offensive line. They could be one of the best in the NFL. I also think that it's important to remember the general consensus about them was that they were pretty good last year. Not like great. They were pretty good. It was all the advanced stats that said actually they were really, really great. Whereas Broncos fans, I think we even had conversations on the show. Like if all the stats are saying they're this good, why is nothing working?
Yeah.
So sometimes I just kind of go back to that.
They were good at pass protection, though.
They were.
Like
yeah.
from everyone's standpoint, I think.
Totally. Definitely. I think Bo getting the ball out quick helps with some of that, too. I still feel good about it. I think that with this being the first real chance with the new run system, there were going to be some hiccups. You don't expect to ever see Quinn Miners like on the ground, though. You know, that's not a good sign, but also I'm not worried about him. And I think there might have been just a little bit more there. If J.K. Dobbins got a couple more carries, I think we might feel a bit differently. We might say like, oh, look at this little lane that popped up. Because RJ to me was just a little bit, he was a little trigger happy. There wasn't a lot of patience. It was a lot of just take it and go. And maybe if he lets it develop, there were a couple plays where I think like maybe there's a cutback there instead of like keeping the bounce outside. So I'm not worried about it. I think maybe I've been a little bit pessimistic. I'm pessimistic by saying like, yeah, probably a top 10 group. And maybe they are a top 5 group. But I don't come away from this all that concerned.
I'm not concerned. But again, just want to see it done right before the season starts.
Got one more opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess 2 joint practice, but even then, you don't really get to fully see how a run game looks.
For sure. And, you know, judging a run game in the preseason and I mean preseason, not as the games, but just the time is hard because it's just so much more violent and so much more active once we're in a real game. And even in the preseason, I would say most guys, especially starters, are not going 100%. You know, maybe they're going 96 or 95%. Some are probably going even less than that. But you get into a real football game, and like I said, the violence increases quite a bit. The speed increases quite a bit. So it's always kind of a crapshoot knowing if you're going to be able to run the ball until you're actually out there.
Yep.
And man, they should be able to handle. I guess the Titans do have a fairly good front seven. That might be their best part of their team. But they should be able to have success in week one and ease all of our concerns there with Draymond Jones on the other side there.
Yep.
So guys, did you hear Sean Payton's comment after the game where he was asked, I think, just about the football side of things, and then he went and said, "Oh, there's 14 other things non-football related from this trip that really pissed me off right now." What do you think those are?
I feel like something came out. I can't remember. I thought I read like a thread yesterday where someone pointed out something that he might have been talking about.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Nope. But, oh gosh, something about, I don't know, operation. Something about operation and like going from one team to the next or whatever. Yeah, I mean, Sean Payton is a perfectionist, and he reminds me of Coach Prime in that way. Of they both expect everyone that is involved with the football team to do their job at an incredibly high level, and so if anything is wrong, if a player's room key isn't ready when they get to the hotel, if like that stuff is going to drive them crazy. So I like it. Sean's putting the pressure on everyone. It's a preseason saying like, hey, you got a couple weeks to get this right or else I'm going to blow a gasket.
I go back to when he said, I don't want anybody on the sideline wearing Gilligan hats and sunglasses.
Did you see any?
No, but I would imagine there's something along those lines. Maybe that's one of them where it's just like, yeah, Cortland Sutton just seemed to be like goofing off over here at some point when he should have been locked in the rest of the game. And who knows? Maybe that's like half of them. But I would imagine something along those lines was a part of it.
Nick Searcy is throwing out there in the Twitter chat. Wasn't the cleat color one of the 14?
Could be.
Troy Franklin wore bright green cleats.
That could be.
It very well might be. I also think that we might be a little too focused on the football field. I do think some of the things could be not paying attention on the sideline or the operations going from one team to another. I think it could also be, like you said, with the hotel keys, it could be something with the hotel. It could be something that is...
The bus was late.
Yeah, that is like not even just not on the field, but not even football related at all. And like you said, Ryan, we know Sean has his hand in everything. And the ownership has given him pretty much full power of letting him dictate how things are going to go, not just with football operations, but with every part of it. And we've seen it happen. I mean, there's no longer player press conferences when they're signed in free agency. We have to wait. I think we waited until June to talk. No, we waited until July, if not August, to talk to Dre Greenlaw for the first time. And that kind of drives fans crazy. They're like, I want to get to know Dre Greenlaw. I want to see the fire and passion he brings. But Sean believes that this is best for the football team. So it does impact PR. It does impact business operations at times. So I think he's talking about more things than that. But where my mind went when I heard that is, well, one, I feel sorry for everyone in the building. It's probably going to be a rough 24, 36, 48 hours. And two, after the Broncos' first preseason game 2 years ago when Sean was the coach, how big was this list for Sean? If it's 14 things now, after he's been in there, after he has told people the way he wants things to operate, after it was his people, I kid you not, was this list 250 things after that first year? And it just makes me take a step back and realize how far this team has come in 3 years since Nathaniel Hackett was running this thing, to the ownership, to the business side, to where they are now, building a new $175 million facility, probably building a new $5 billion stadium, soon to be announced probably. And just that gives me a lot of ease for where the Broncos team can football-wise go on the field. Because if he's still pissed off at 14 things, I can't imagine what it was.
Facts. And, I think that Sean Payton, he put high expectations on this team for a reason. And everything he does is part of like a psychology type of stuff that he's doing with his team. And I think that he's going to use that actually against everyone this week. And he's going to say, hey, I went out there and said, we're a Super Bowl team. And then we went out there like that, and someone's helmet wasn't ready on the sideline, and you didn't wear the right color shoe. Like, you guys are making me look like an idiot.
Right.
So you're going to pay for it.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. And as Bo said last week, when I asked him about Sean thinks you can be a top 4 or 5 quarterback, Bo said, I don't want to let my coach down. And so it's those exact same things that now he can do to everyone in the building as well. Don't let me down. I believed in you. Now you're letting me down?
Yep.
No.
Mm-hmm. Going back to some of the things we didn't like, or the things that didn't go well, the punter. That was kind of disappointing. 3 punts for 111 yards. So that's a 37-yard average. He had a 50-yarder in there, so it's 61 over the other two. Having 2 punts that average 30.5 yards is not good. And like, there's none of them going to the end zone.
So
none
bad
of them,
you wouldn't even call him by his name. You just called him
the punter. Yeah, we'll deal with that. But yeah, like nothing inside the 20, no touchback. So it's not like the issue was like, oh, he's just kicking to a short field. He's just trying to pin him back there. But that was pretty tough. Specifically the one where he was trying to pin him back there. But didn't get the ball inside the 20.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're going to see this in the regular season. And that's not even the gamble. That's the trade-off that the Broncos took by going with a guy that is extremely talented, but very raw. I mean, he started punting 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Something like that.
And then went straight to college, did well in college. And now he's had no competition. I think right after the Broncos drafted him, they cut the other punter that they had. Was it Matt Hack?
Yep.
I believe.
Matt Hawk.
Matt.
Not his brother.
Yeah, not Mike.
Mike.
But you're gonna have this. You're gonna see a punt go for 67 yards in the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna see a punt go out of bounds 27 yards. And it's just something the Broncos have chosen to live with.
You can't.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That's just the case, though.
I know. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, and I'm not gonna overreact to Jeremy Crawshaw having 2 bad punts in his first ever NFL game. But I just don't think it's like something you could just live with. Like, you can just accept that, like, oh, there's just gonna be a 27-yard punt. Like, no, there can't.
No, like if you're the Titans or the Browns, then sure. Like, what are you playing for? Like, oh, the punter's not good. Makes sense not to invest. If this sort of thing is a trend, if this is the performance we get the first 4 weeks of the season, there's a new punter week 5.
What's interesting is we have seen this all throughout training camp. Like, I think the very first day we saw him punt in training camp, it was kind of disastrous. Like, there were some bombs, but then 2/3 of the punts were out of bounds, 20 to 40 yards down the line of scrimmage. And Sean even talked about it and said, like, oh, we need to bring a lot of those ones back in the field. And it was like, second day of training camp, all jokes. Then he went on a week stretch where it was really good. Then since then, it's been very hit or miss with his punts. So if they're concerned about that, there should probably be another punter brought in. I'm not concerned because I think they do know what they're signing up for here. But I also think they're saying we're not going to punt a lot because of this offense. And like you said, Henry, the Broncos did that first drive, get the ball to the 50, midfield right there. You probably don't need a great punter if you're doing that more times than not.
Well, then he punted it and didn't get it inside the 20.
Yeah. I know. I know.
So you actually do need a good punter, apparently.
Apparently.
I believe in Jeremy.
I do too.
I just expect some great punts, and also you will see a couple of them, at least early in the season, that you're like, that wasn't good. You just hope that it happens when the Broncos are up 30-9 in the fourth quarter against the Titans week 1, not in a tight game where you absolutely need it.
For sure. Also, shout out Will Lutz for taking care of business.
Yes, absolutely. Always good to see the kicker looking good.
Yep.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow after the Broncos' next training camp practice. We'll be tuning in live around 2, so make sure to join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thank you for rocking and rolling with us. We'll see you tomorrow on DNVR Broncos Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.